Hi, this is Paul Bauer and welcome to The Power of the Present Moment. In this video, I'll share with you why being in the present is so absolutely critical for your own inner peace and your success in your life. And I'll also define what the present moment is, how we fall out of it, and what to do about it. So what does the present moment really mean? It's the part of us, it's the state within us where we feel connected, at peace, and literally okay with everything that goes on in our life, no matter if it's stressful or not. It's not the stress that makes the difference, it's how we respond to it. So the present moment is that essence within us where we are connected and fully at peace, whether our mind believes it or not. And being present is a way of saying that I'm in that space, I'm connected to that. Even if the mind doesn't know how, or even if you get kind of stuck sometimes. Another way of saying it is being in the now. The now is the present moment. Right now, as you hear my voice, whether there's distractions going on in your life, if you take just a few moments and take a nice deep breath right now, as you listen to my voice, now you begin to come back into the now, the present moment. This is the only moment we have. Right now, in this moment. There's no past and there's no future. Now, there are many distractions from the now, and that we're going to go into as well in this video. Many of them you know quite well. Facebook, texts, email, internet, interruptions of all kinds, TV, food. There are so many that we actually lose track of them. The real key is that when you're in the present, there is no past. Even though the mind believes that to be true, even though we've got old memories that there's a thing called the past. The only way we actually get stuck in life is that we're believing that that past has more relevance than our present moment does. And then there's the future, but the future doesn't exist either. It hasn't happened yet. All that we're left with is the present moment. As you focus right now, as you listen to my voice, on just that presence within you, you begin to get a sense, a felt sense of what the present moment is really like. So what keeps us from being fully present in our life? There's many, but thinking that we are our mind is one of the keys. I'm going to touch on this a little bit more as we go in this video. Another one is resistance. Resistance to that which shows up in our life, whether it's something we want or something that we just don't prefer. Unconsciously, we have this little thing called resistance within us that you know when it feels like in your system because it just doesn't feel right. And another one is that we avoid our own feelings, and we do that on a regular basis because when something shows up that we don't like in our life, then those feelings come up. It's not always easy to feel our feelings, so we tend to avoid them or suppress them. So how do you know you're not in the present moment? You feel stressed. You wish things were different. You can't seem to control your emotions. The key, though, is it's all about how you feel on the inside. Ask yourself, how do I really feel right now? That's the real key. When you begin to start feeling your feelings, now you're becoming present with yourself, with your own emotions, with thoughts and feelings that are moving through you. It's all about how you feel. But often we drop back into the past, or we start imagining things in the future that may not go right. And that's what throws us off. When you feel emotions like anxiety or fear, disappointment, overwhelm, these are all telling you that you're not in the present moment. That's the key. And the mind is taking you over. And now we begin to get a perception into the deception, as Vernon Howard once called it. When the mind begins to take over, you start feeling these deep feelings of anxiety and regret and guilt and angst. That's when you actually have identified with it. So what do we mean by identifying? When you begin to identify with problems and emotions, you literally establish your own self as like, whoop, that's what it is. The definition of identify is to establish or indicate who or what something or someone is. But it's also to make or represent, to be or treat as the same or identical. In other words, what we're saying here is that when you begin to identify with problems and emotions and these negative thoughts, it actually creates an identity. You think you are that problem. Some examples. Anxiety with money often creates the identity of not enough. The fear of love creates a fear of intimacy. Anger at someone creates an identity of you've done me wrong or I am bad. The solution is to step back and breathe. Taking several slow, deep breaths are more powerful than most people can imagine. Even if you've taken breathing courses before, or meditation, or yoga, or Tai Chi, the power of the breath is more powerful than most of our minds can imagine. Step back and just breathe, and then notice. Notice what you're feeling. But take the observer perspective. Become the observer in your life. Let those thoughts and feelings just kind of like wash away like waves on the ocean, and become the true observer in your life. And the very act of noticing becomes a state of strength of and by itself. So all you got to do, instead of responding to these negative thoughts or challenges or concerns or things that your mind is identified with, is step back and notice. Each time you step back and then breathe and observe, you free yourself and you become present. That alone is enough to bring you inspiration, peace, resolution of some problems that you didn't even think had resolution to them. And you come back into the now, into this present moment. And this is your true self right now as you listen to my voice. You can pause this video and take a few moments and just get in touch with your essence, your true self. Free of old patterns, problems, identities, struggles, all that stuff, all those distractions of the mind begin to just dissolve by just stepping back. And when you start getting good at this, you start being able to use problems to come back into the now. Here's what I mean. As I began to remember how to do this back maybe about 20 years ago, I started thinking to myself, you know what, instead of having these challenges pop up and then cause me these inner stress patterns, I'm going to use the challenges to remind me to come back into the now. Pause this video just for a moment and think of a challenge that you're currently going through. Now, close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and say to yourself, I'm going to let this challenge or any other one remind me to come back in touch and in tune with who I am, my true self, and come back into this present moment. Take several slow, deep, cleansing breaths and allow yourself to do that now. So, let's review. First, notice. This is how you come back into the present moment. You step back. You take several slow, deep breaths and observe. In other words, become the observer. This is how you come back into the now. And you begin to let go or disidentify. In other words, that you no longer be the problem. You just observe it and start noticing that it has no power over you. That it's just a thought that goes through the mind. And even the emotions that it may have touched off. You step back and you breathe into those feelings and those emotions. As you do, you strengthen your awareness and your ability to be free of the mind. Watch my next video on a secret power within you that transforms literally any problem into clarity. I'll see you soon. Aloha, Paul Bauer.